been feeling blue. My money is too. Shawty act gold till she seen it too. I've been feeling blue.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What's the Dealio? I am here today with my partner in crime, Michael Steinberg. What's up, Mike?
What's going on? So today we have such a good guest. He's a ball player. He's a real estate developer. He's came a long way. Terry Harris, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show,
Absolutely.
bro.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell our community who you are and how you got here.
Houses out there in Joshua Tree, California, land is really cheap out there, anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. And we would buy land there, build houses for around $400,000 and look to sell them upwards of $750,000 to $1 million. So
Nice.
usually creating about $250,000 to $300,000 of equity per.
How quickly?
How quickly? I'm looking those you get through planning and permitting in like 3 to 4 months, and then build them for about 6 to 7 months. Look to sell it 2 to 3 months. In today's market, probably like 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So it's a year process, basically.
About a year process, yeah.
$300,000.
And then my thing was like, man, I don't want to wait a year to do this. I don't want to wait a year. So I was like, you know what? Let me do 10 or let me do 12. So I brought in partners, brought in construction financing. I showed them how you can do this. A lot of people think new development, you need all this cash out of pocket. When I was finding out I was doing new developments, less money out of pocket than my actually flips. So when I was able to bring that to investors and show them the whole
With
capital
construction loans, like what? Yeah.
Yeah. So construction loans on my new developments, one of the lenders I work with, they do a 60% loan to value. So I'll take the pre-approved plans to them, and they'll a real appraiser will come in. They'll appraise the plans as if the house was already built.
Really?
Wow.
So like, let's just say one of my houses, they got appraised for $1 million. Yeah. They'll give me the construction loan for 60% of that. So 60% of that will be $600,000 construction loan. I only need about $525,000 to build this whole house out. So what I'll even do then with that $600,000 is package 6 months of interest reserves in there. So I'm not even, my only investment now is the land and the pre-development.
Yeah.
Land $30,000. Let's say pre-development, architect, engineer, site plan, perk test, everything you need, $25,000, $55,000 investment, and then you're all in $600,000. You sell it for $850,000, $900,000. You can net $250,000 from a $55,000 investment.
Do you have to own the property before you could go out and get the financing? You have to close?
Yeah. So that's
Yeah. No, but it's definitely a hack right there.
Yeah. So that was when I was able to learn the capital stacks, then I was able to go from doing one on my own, 2 on my own, to doing 12 by bringing in partners and show them like, hey, look, this $50,000 investment, we build this house together, and we sell, and however we want to do it, or however we want to package the partnership.
How competitive is it to find these properties?
Out there, it's really not. What I've learned is like development. It's not. I don't think it's that competitive. I really think it's like, because not a lot of people really want to take that. They think it's a risk. It's like, so it's like, who wants to build? Who wants to do it? It's like there's land everywhere. But who really wants to go through that year? And then it can be a lot of headaches.
Probably a lot of no's, right?
Exactly. So
It's definitely intimidating. Like I'm in the real estate business for 2 decades, but I haven't developed anything. So it's definitely, you have that like shit. Like I've heard these nightmares where I have these loans and now the property's not worth what I bought it for and all that stuff, and it keeps people from doing it, which is good for you. And it sounds like you found an interesting market too that's not necessarily extremely competitive. Where obviously, and the prices are, make more sense than if you were looking to build something in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
A
lot more risk.
You have a back end, you have a team, a construction team, everything?
I
sub everything?
My first 2 houses out there, I subbed everything. And the first one I subbed because I thought it was going to save me so much money. But, also time is money, So now I'm like, I am on my first 2 houses, I'm the contractor and the developer. I'm bringing all the financing together. I'm putting all the subs together. Now, with all the houses and then the ventures I'm getting into with multifamily, it's not worth my time to be a contractor for a single family and a developer at the same time. I'd rather delegate my time, just be the developer, pay a contractor about $20, $25 more for a foot, and have him handle the whole process. Let me just call and check up. As the contractor developer, I got to be out there 2-3 times a week. Absolutely. And then I'm working on multifamily in LA. Yeah, you got to delegate. And that's what I've kind of learned also, like in the development game. And, it's not about you trying to master everything from the architect, like making the plan good, submitting the plans, being a contractor. And, I wanted to wear every hat because I thought like, this is the way to do business. But what I've learned, like, and I'm new in business, I'm fairly new. What I've learned is like, it's about putting the best resources together.
Absolutely.
Putting the best resources together and letting that, make your image come to life. So
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Having
You
trust
also,
in your people.
yeah, I mean, as you go, you'll pivot and adjust from your learnings, right?
Yeah.
Like it seems like you're better off doing everything yourself because you're going to make a little bit here, a little bit there, but you can make a lot more potentially by just being super niche and being amazing at what you're good at, and then you're not trading your time for money the way you are on the construction side.
100%.
Yeah.
Smart business model. So do you have anything in New York, or you're just in California right now?
New York is the goal. Yeah, New York is the goal. I'm a big believer. It's like, as someone new in business, I want to be able to invest and develop in like area, call it like have boots on the ground. Yeah. So LA was like my next tenure, and now like, I believe like developing in Joshua Tree was like training for me, like learning how to develop, learning how to buy land, construction financing, architects. So then I took that into LA for LA multifamily. LA needs housing badly. Yeah. So coming in, fitting in a need in good areas, like we spoke about Echo Park. Yeah. I'm able to do that now. And LA has now like understood like, okay, like we need housing. We've made it difficult for developers to build out here. We want to ease back on a lot of these restrictions. So a lot of the new laws that have been passed in LA are really they're developer friendly. They're like, look, we want you to build out here, but we want you to build affordable housing. Yeah. So, and it makes our numbers pencil out astronomically better than building any other product. So, in LA, currently I'm building a 30 unit, 100% affordable in Echo Park, a 74 unit, 100% affordable. And then working on a big development that, even bigger than those that, they're working on putting the whole capital stack together as we speak. And the goal really is to get to New York. So it's like
New York City or Long Island?
New York City.
We're gonna help you with that.
Oh man, please
Got
do.
the connection.
100%. And the way I look at it's like I'm in the second biggest market in the U.S. I was like, there's only one market to get to,
That's right.
The only problem is the unions in New York. You got to watch out for that end. I don't know if there's union in L.A.
That like kind of like stops building.
That they just have their hand out. You got to pay them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, I don't think there's that in LA. I hope not. Yeah. LA, they call them NIMBYs that we have to watch out for. Yeah. Not in my backyard. So it's like, I mean, anybody can really like say like, look, that big building that you're trying to build over there, that's going to mess up my view. I don't want it here. And like they can delay the build. So you have to watch out for those things. Like,
yeah, watch out for that on Long Island too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Long Island's so tough to build.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but they're loosening up, similar to what you described, because they're realizing it's like, there's so few apartments coming online here annually that it's like it's crazy. But everybody fights about like the school districts and all of the
water
other things,
districts,
everything.
Yeah.
So how do you two know each other? Let's that's how we got here today. So let's hear a little history. Is Mike as good at basketball as he says he is?
So I still play, but we met at Lehigh basketball camp.
Amazing.
And
one of the best camps.
One of the best camps ever.
You can't beat that kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and his family, he's got two other brothers they're very good at basketball himself, and we competitive. We played, and I guess I hit you up recently on the podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
went to Hills West. I went to Hills East. You went to Hills West.
Yeah,
we all in the same neck of the woods.
Crazy, yeah.
I mean, I have a question for you. Business, it correlates to basketball, right? It correlates to sports. You have a team. There's no I in team. Everyone has to play their part. That's what I'm learning from my business. I can't do everything. I have about 150 brokers that work with me, and I try to wear all the hats like you said, but you just can't. So you see like a big correlation to sports and being successful in business?
Definitely. When I first hopped in from basketball to business, I couldn't see it like at all. But now, like being 4 or 5 years in, I see like the ways that you have to lock in sometimes on business and the way I would lock in on the court. I would see sometimes like when I get in the flow on the court, how I can get in the flow in business. So it's like a lot of things correlate. And, there's sometimes like you have to like sometimes you just got to get in that zone or get in that mode, like, with basketball in the same way, like, you have to do it with business as well. I also think like, you know, as a young or new entrepreneur, you know, at the same time is like executing. I'm learning at the same time. I'm learning and I'm going at the same time. So it's like you need a lot more work than just kind of just doing it, you know. So I make sure that like, you know, a lot of the hours that I spent like in the gym, I try to like bring that into the business world as well.
Sure. I mean, have you lost? I mean, I don't know. Have you lost money on a deal yet?
I lost money on a deal. Yeah, why you gotta say that?
So you learned if you lost.
Well, it's
money.
impossible. You know, listen, if we were all sitting here talking only about wins, you know, like it just means there's an L coming.
Yeah.
You know, you can't win them all.
You can't.
No.
You know what I think when I got like right when COVID happened and like the markets were like everyone was making money off everything. I started to I was like, you know what? I'm going to start Turo. I'm going to start doing Airbnbs. I'm going to start doing this. And I was like, and what I saw myself doing was I was just like spreading myself too thin. I was like getting into this avenue. So today I have like, I just got rid of two cars that like were meant for Turo, but I wasn't focused on building a luxury car business. I was just trying to do it for like I was just trying to do it to build extra cash flow. Had a couple Airbnbs that I just wasn't focusing on. What I've learned like about Airbnbs also, it's like, it's another business that you just have to keep like, you know, got to keep taking care of. You always got to like, you know, kind of upgrade it to the market, you know, make it compete. You have to compete with other people.
Compete.
Yeah.
So like
a lot of property management type stuff, right?
And they take a chunk off of the bottom line, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my wholesaling business. So I was doing like 5 different businesses at once. And what I've learned, like, I started losing money, you know, within all those businesses because I really wasn't delegating enough time and energy to each of those businesses. So now, like, I was able to, like, kind of, like, see that happening, you know, recalibrate, and then, like, okay, what's my main intention in business and my venture? And I saw, like, my main intention is to be a developer, to be one of the best developers. So let me, you know, learn, let me do extra reading on this, let me see how I can be better developers, let me spend extra time connecting with other developers, and let me, you know, spend much time focusing on my developments. And then it's like, now we go back to the basketball court. How was Terry the best player? Terry was the best player by focusing on his main attribute on the court. My main attribute on the court was being a high-level three-point shooter. It wasn't attacking the basket. It wasn't blocking shots and doing this and doing that. But being a high-level three-point shooter, being a good defender, and you know, being a good teammate. And if I could do that, then I was at the highest level. If I was doing everything, all these other stuff, I wasn't playing the best. So that's one way I really compare it to the game.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So what makes your properties different from, you know, do you have something that makes you different from another developer?
Yeah, I think you know, when you see my properties, it's a sense of like it's youth. There's a sense of soul in it. A lot of my single family homes are very you know, they're different. They're modern. And they're not just like, you know, your regular cookie cutter homes. So I want to bring that. I want to bring that into the game as much as I can. And then even in the multifamily, even though they're affordable, I definitely want them to kind of stand out and not just be boxes. But like, it's funny because now it's like when I'm value engineering these properties and planning, like the first build was like, you know, it was a really nice modern apartment for the 30 unit. And then when I like sent it to my contractor, got pricing, it was a bit high. And he was like, no, he's like, take off the balconies. And he was like, move that part up front and like did all this stuff. I'm like, man, I'm looking at now turning into a box, but you got to like, sometimes it's like, it's funny. You don't want to, you don't want to make it look too basic, but I'm going to make it work out. Like, you know, some design aspects to like kind of make it a feel of, you know, not just like, you know, make it feel comfortable for everything. Yeah. I feel like if I can do that more and more, you know, it's gonna, you know, pay the long way when I like start to venture into, you know, the bigger, the more luxury products.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
So the being an athlete, kind of piggybacking onto what Mike asked, you know, for me in business, being disciplined has changed my, you know, allowed me to break through different plateaus throughout my career, and surrounding myself with athletes and getting in the best physical and mental health that I possibly can continues to allow me to do that. And I feel like you have an advantage being an athlete, you know, being in very good physical condition. Do you still hit the gym frequently? Are you still like very into maintaining, you know, your physical?
Definitely.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is like, so as an athlete, I used to get up at 5:30 and get a workout in, and it was just routine for me.
Yeah.
And then when I got into business, you know, I think like the first 6 months, I don't know if I was working out at that 5:30, but what I've noticed is like when I would get to like the office or sit down, you just don't have the same like that same fuel, you know. You don't have that. I don't know what it is, and it's just like it's like a mental clarity. So now it's like, all right, like I try to implement like still like an athlete type of schedule. So I get up, you know, I do hot yoga from 6 to 7, and with
That's
that
tough.
yeah, it's super tough.
Have you done hot yoga?
Hot
It's like
of course.
my jam. Do you ever go to Hot 8 yoga? Do you know Hot 8 in LA?
No, I don't know.
Fire. I'll set you up.
Okay, cool.
It's crazy. It's the hottest. It's like
the hot.
110. It's legit, bro. I was with the owner at
mental
Craig's
toughness.
for dinner on Thursday last week.
Oh, yeah.
Go to Craig's in LA?
I haven't,
Oh, it's the spot, bro.
I gotta
I'll
check
show
it out.
you LA.
Yeah, please do.
100%. Yeah, hot yoga is great. Love it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you do ice baths?
No, I need to.
Oh, come on, man. We gotta go.
This is the
You know,
king of
ice
baths.
ice baths were like one of those things. Like after games, I was like,
Yeah.
"Please, let me not get in an ice bath."
It's mental.
Yeah,
Yo,
but it's.
man.
I think it's all. It comes back to what you said, like morning routine, man.
Yeah.
Like I again, because of this tattoo on my back, I can't take an ice bath every morning. So now I'm just like, so I'm a half step off,
Right.
because instead of waking up, walking outside in my underwear and jumping in the ice in this, you know, temperature outside, it was like high 20s this morning. So I'll jump in the ice. I'm up, man. Like I'm ready to go.
That's the way to do it.
You know,
yeah.
like now I'm just like kind of like chilling.
Yeah,
I'm like a
yeah.
half step off. I'm relying on coffee too much.
No, you'll feel that though. You'll feel that with the routine and like the
Yeah.
discipline. That spark kind of. And then I've heard the ice bath though, and like the hot yoga, like so the hot yoga and like the shavasana. You know, you lay down, like get in a meditative state for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like the ice baths, like you're supposed to really like, you know, control your breathing, let
100%.
yourself relax.
Yeah.
But that mental clarity really, that gives me like, all right, I'm ready to attack the day now. After I walk out, I'm good. Like I'm good to go, you know? So it's definitely like it's like for me, it's like I need that to get going, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. What else do you do? What else is a normal
I try,
like
you know,
routine for you?
The hot yoga is daily, and
Yeah.
then I try to get about 3 lifts in a week.
Yeah.
And I do a lot, probably twice, like a long distance run,
Okay.
and that's pretty solid. I think that's pretty, because I've noticed like I've been doing the hot yoga consistently, and I was like kind of like, man, am I gonna still like stay like, you know, I don't want to look too skinny or nothing.
Yeah.
Hot yoga, but the hot yoga is actually like you get the muscle, you're getting like a lot of good muscle work in.
Are you doing like a sculpt class that has light weights and stuff in the heat?
I do that once a week.
Yeah,
I
that's
do that
fun.
once.
That's hard.
Yeah,
That stuff's hard.
that'll get you shredded too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What do? You do the hot yoga and
So yeah, so I'm like super entrenched in the fitness space. So I represent a lot of like the well-known fitness brands exclusively across the country. So I design and roll out their strategies. So Solid Core is one of my that workout's like one of the toughest
Really?
full body workouts. Yeah, I'll set you up there, dude. You gotta.
oh yeah, I gotta check that
It's
out.
it's crazy.
I want to go. No, I've never been.
Do they have Solid Core in West Coast in LA?
Yeah. We the 100th studio that we opened was Santa Monica, and now we have a handful. We're all over LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I've definitely
West
seen it.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'll set you up for sure.
Definitely.
That workout, like once a week, just throwing that in the mix, your whole body's like crazy, man.
man.
But I do, a lot of. I kind of have to jump into, different classes and whatnot, but I've been on a string of injuries, dude. I just broke my collarbone last week. It's like fluorescent green right here, man. I'm like, it's
How'd you
crazy.
do that?
I keep injuring myself. This was, believe it or not, dude, my little son got out of the shower, didn't towel himself off, and I went into the shower after not realizing, was on the mat and toweling myself off, stepped off the mat and busted my ass, man. It was like I felt like I got hit by a car in my bathroom. It was like I was like,
man.
I literally on the floor, hit my neck on like the door jamb, like a totally freak thing. And then the next morning I was on a flight to San Diego with a broken collarbone in a sling. This is last week, by the way. I'm still supposed to be wearing a sling. Yeah, I'm traveling with luggage with one arm, dude. Can't stop me, bro. Let's go, bro.
That's that New York energy right there.
Yeah. It's funny, like everybody's like, "You're not going to California tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't. But it's that mindset, where I had a big thing that I couldn't reschedule. I was on a big podcast out in San Diego, which was a awesome opportunity. So I'm not like, for me, it's not, I'm going to call, I injured myself. Can we reschedule in February? You know what I mean? Like that's pushing off too much energy for me. I need this to happen now so I can hit, January running.
Right.
I think that's, what would you say are some qualities that have made you successful, throughout your career in sports and now in real estate development?
I think the ability to execute, I think the ability to I think a lot of times what I see is a lot of people get into the analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I show my capital decks to a lot of these institutional firms, there's always a young guy my age, analyzing it, going through the numbers, and they know the numbers probably better than I do.
Yeah.
They know like a lot of the definitions and a lot of things better than I do, and I'm like, and I kind of think what's stopping you from doing this? If you know everything from acquisition, soft costs, hard costs, financing costs, the whole capital stack. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? Why are you not doing this? And the thing is just executing, just like going out and really kind of, sometimes it's just really seeing it, And I think that's the main thing. It's like, are you really seeing it? Am I seeing this building come to life? And that's kind of what can get you going. Because, I'd be lying if I said I had every answer of how my build or any of my build was going to be built. From, change orders always happen. Delays can happen, anything can happen, but the only thing that can stay the same is like my vision of seeing this building come to life. So if I can keep that,
I love this. I love how humble he is. He's very humble.
Well, that was like, it was great to hear you say that, because I feel like so many people, like for me, I've never been the smartest person in the room, and I'm okay with that, right? So it's like, it's that determination and drive where like failure is not an option. Even when I fail, I'm like, I learned from that,
Exactly,
it's those things. But the people that are really smart and stuck in the spreadsheets oftentimes get stuck in the spreadsheets, right? And years just go by. And it sounds to me like, you have confidence in yourself. That's really like, that's not easy, right? If you're doubting yourself and you're like, well, maybe this is too risky, and you never actually do something, like that's where I think the really smart people oftentimes get stuck, collecting their salary, having a great job, working on a great team. It's really tough to take that leap to be an entrepreneur, and it's not for everybody.
It's not 100%. And it can be roller coasters, it's constant problem solving. At first I was like, even on the social media side, like I was like, anybody can do this. And I'm like, do you want everybody to do this though?
Yeah.
And
Even if you say that, they're not going to do it. You got to execute, like you said.
Yeah.
Everything's execution.
Everything is execution. And sometimes it's not even about knowing everything. You're going to learn along the way, and that's just what's going to make you stronger. And, some of the greatest lessons are like, some of the things like I've learned is like, hey, it wasn't in a book, So it's like,
there's only so much you can learn in a book.
Yeah, there's only so much.
You got it. Like the real world's going to teach you fast, man.
Yeah. Those no's are going to teach you.
Yeah.
100%. So,
what would you say are the most important qualities for quote unquote success?
Quote unquote success. I think number one probably would be, believing yourself and like really seeing that image, or like seeing yourself at that state.
The manifestation.
Yeah, I think that's number one. And that's something like I've been even like, that's what I spend the most reading now, is like, how can I be stronger in that? How can I see something, like see a 100+ unit come to life, because it's like, sometimes it's like, what I compare it to is like, if you want to get a 6-pack and you've never got a 6-pack before in your life, that's probably going to be the hardest time for you to really get toned in and get in shape. So like a lot of times people going into a business venture, this is the first time you've ever done this. You've never seen yourself do this before. So you really have to like lock in on like, either manifestation or like really believe in yourself and see yourself in that state, and then see it start coming into life. So I think that's like the key, like being able to see that. I think that discipline, that hard work, being able to like, you know, a lot of times when I get a little, when my boys, they sometimes get me annoyed because like they like, yo, I want to get in this, I want to get into this avenue. I'm like doing whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, what have you read about it? And he's like, oh no, I haven't read anything yet. I'm like, I'm just like, yo, like, I mean, like, it's good that you're like, you want to get into something. It's good that, you know, I mean, maybe watching TikToks on it, like a minute, whatever. But like, yo, put like, if I know that you really want to do something, when you can get into, when you either get into a book or like, because, you know, you're spending tens of hours into it, you know, it's not even like,
You gotta do the work.
Exactly. You got to do the work. And, you know, that's like, I think like being obsessed about it, like in a sense, like, it's like, you know, if you're obsessed about it, you're spending all day, like, you know, on, you know, reading about it, connecting with people in that avenue.
Mentors.
Mentors.
Do you have mentors?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
How often do you speak to them?
I'll probably try to speak to real estate mentors like once or twice a week in the avenue. And I feel like when you obsess about a craft, the mentors like come to you, you know, it's like they see and they want to, because it's like, if you guys see people, young people, like who are obsessed about, you know, in the same avenue you guys are in, like, you're going to want to help them out, you know, you're going to want to help them.
It's attractive.
Exactly.
It's also, you know, I feel like, you know, again, as I get older, like I realize that the people at the top of any game collaborate. They don't compete. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. When you're like starting out or you're like in the middle of it and whatnot, you know, it's competitive, and actually people are trying to hold you back. You know what I mean? And that was a big part of my career. Like as I started to get better and become well known for what I do and become a top producer and things of that nature, people older than me were like, you know, you should really like check out like maybe doing something else. I'd be like, what the hell? Like talking me out of what I'm doing, right? Like, cause I'm doing better than them now. Like that's like, yo, like that's fucked up. Like, why are you trying to, you know, you think I'm coming for yours? Like there's enough to go around, you know, like that scarcity mindset keeps people so stuck. Yeah. You know,
why do you think people do that?
I think that people genuinely, it's funny. Like I heard a phrase recently where it's like, you know, people kind of hate on you, not because they necessarily want what you have, but they basically don't want you to have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like I see sometimes, you know, people, I'm in the game a long time now, and all I do is help people. I've hired so many people and trained so many people in the industry. And it's weird because like, as time goes on, it's like, and as I grow and I'm, you know, doing bigger things and surrounded by bigger people and like entering these different like rings of a tree, essentially, you know, it's like the people that you've helped along the way aren't always happy for you. It's, you know, there's like this, I don't want to say jealousy, because it might not be jealousy or envy. It's more like, you know, I think the better you get at something, you become a mirror, you know, like for me, even like I stopped drinking alcohol, like I'm super, super like into wellness at this state of my life. And like anytime that I'm around people now, right, like people that I came up with, you know, like it's like, you know, Jay's different now, you know, but it's just because you're leveling up. I'm leveling up, and it's like, you know, there's only so much time that I can tolerate not sharpening my axe. Like that's just what my day's about, right? So I'm not at all coming off like I'm better than you. If anything, I'm like happy to help any person, right? Like I don't look at myself as better than anybody, never have. But I think it becomes intimidating. I think it becomes like, you know, like the people look at you and they're like, yo, why is he, you know, this 23-year overnight success? You know what I mean? It's like, to your point, like putting in the work and all those things and doing it so consistently for so long, I think you're just becoming a mirror to other people. And they're like, yo, like, I'm hungover. Why is this cat like on right now? Like, you know? Yeah. It's a little of that. Yeah. Then there's people that are worse than that and that are just, you know, straight up haters. You know?
Right. 100%.
Yeah, there's all that stuff. And I think the game's getting, on some level, like life in general, I think is just getting tougher. You know, so in my experience, especially like post COVID, and having my finger on the pulse on businesses across the country, you know, I feel like a lot of businesses and a lot of entrepreneurs kind of like hustled their way through COVID, and the ones that didn't close and got through it essentially expect to be back to like their pre-COVID numbers and aren't necessarily. And now they're like, I just grinded my face off for the last 3 going on 4 years, and I'm not doing the numbers that I was pre-COVID. I'm tired. Like, what am I doing? You know, I think there's a lot of people that are just like adjusting and you know, making big life changes where they're just, you know, tired, and like relationships are different. Your mindset's different. You know, there's like a major shift going on, in my opinion. Yeah.
I looked at kind of like COVID like as a storm kind. And what I've noticed is like a lot of people, because everyone I saw a lot of people quit their jobs and like get into, you know, ventures in real estate. Yeah. And, you know, and as COVID, you know, because for real estate, COVID was like a boom. And then right after COVID, like, there was a little, you know, that like, I call it like a quick crash, you know. And in that time, I saw a lot of people, you know, go back, you know, quit their job, go into real estate, and go back to their venture of what they originally started. Yeah. And the way I looked, I was like, if you can't get through this storm, it's like, you know, and the people who can get through the storm diligently can adjust and maneuver. Like, I think it's going to be really, you know, rewarding for them after.
Absolutely.
You have to, I think one of the things that I would think are most important personally with, again, my own experience is you have to have a long-term marathon mindset. Like if you're not fully committed and obsessed to being a real estate developer, and you're like, I'm going to do this for 5 years, and then a storm comes and you're like, you know what? Now I think I'm going to go do this. You're never going to become great. You're never going to master anything because you have to commit to the long term. I always say like aggressive patience, right? And it's not something I came up with. Andy Frisella came up with it. And, you know, it shaped a lot of my, I'd say the last 5-6 years when I started really realizing that if I can accomplish as much as possible in a 24-hour period, I'm super aggressive in in the 24 hours of the day, but I'm super long-term patient, right? And I think that's the biggest challenge for people, especially young people, like the microwave generation, you know? Like I have little kids, man, if they don't get like what they're expecting right
that type
away.
A personality, you know, you gotta, I have a huge type A personality. I was talking to one of my mentors yesterday, and he's like, Mike, you just want to go, 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 go. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm learning now how to pivot and work smarter. I feel like working smarter is everything right now.
Yeah, it is. And then, you know, sometimes I look at like, it is working smarter because anybody can work hard, you know?
Yeah.
You know, anybody can work hard. And I see I see people on the job site, you know, these guys, you know, like, you might work hard. I mean, you probably do work harder than me. Like, you know, it's just, but I believe working smart and working different is what can get you to another level, you know?
It is.
What are your goals, you know, in the next 5 years? Have you thought about that, you know, next 5-year goals?
Yeah, I think, I want to be, the end of 2024, I want to be developing over 1,000 units in LA, and then I want to get into New York, and the goal is to, you know, build skyscrapers in New York. So that's the goal, you know.
Good. I believe you'll do it.
I like this I love when I come back to New York. I'm like, it's just the, you know,
the feeling, the hustle, right?
Exactly, the hustle. So like, it's funny because like in LA, like if it rains hard, like I go to the gym, the lady's like, "Oh, you made it." I'm like, "What do you mean I made it?" Like, of course I made it.
That's
like,
crazy.
But like people in LA take off when it rains, you know.
Really?
So it's like the last.
That's
2
good
weeks,
though. There's no competition.
No competition. It's like the last 2 weeks, my office space has like been empty. I'm just like, yo, it's like, this is crazy, you know. It's like, but like sometimes like you want to be around that hustle energy. Yeah, LA kind of. I got to LA for basketball. I was just doing my basketball training out there. So like then I just kind of like landed there, and you know it's a cool spot. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I definitely want to like transition to New York, and I just want to be in that. You know, when I go out there, it's just you see in the city, you see the new buildings being built, you see what's happening in Gowanus, you see what's happening all over Brooklyn, and New York seems to be when I'm hearing from other developers, they understand that they like, okay, look, we need growth here as well. You know, we can't stop the growth here. you know, and we're going to ease up a little bit and let you guys, you know, build. And, you know, when you see all the big towers out there, it's just like inspirational, like to be like, all right, one day, you know, I'll be out here building something out here. So that's kind of like.
I can introduce you to some big developers over here.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Billionaires.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah. A lot of hotels in New York City I'm selling right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What areas in the city you like?
I like downtown. I sold the Hyatt on Wall Street.
Okay.
I just picked up a portfolio in Midtown, the $2 billion portfolio.
Nice.
And I'm exclusively selling that.
Oh, okay.
Anything that's reasonable and that can transact, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you stay primarily in Long Island or
All over. Florida, New York, Florida, New Jersey.
Nice.
And we find deals that like you got to work with people you like. You know, if you work with people you like, you're gonna make money. If you work with people that are unreasonable and that don't see the big picture, it's hard to make deals happen.
Yeah.
When you're buying properties, I mean, are you ever dealing with anyone that's unreasonable and that just won't come off their price?
Sometimes we deal with city inspectors. They're
tough.
unreasonable sometimes, you know. Sometimes you gotta like, oh man, like you gotta, you know, work with these people. I don't know. Sometimes, but then it's just like that's me being the contractor. Who else? If I'm sometimes you deal with homeowners, but then it's like the way I go about it, I definitely like I make a lot of offers, so it's like, all right, if you're gonna be too tough, if I'm spending too much energy,
You're looking
here,
on a lot of different deals at the same time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You have a go-to real estate person down there?
I have a couple brokers, and then and then even have a cold calling team myself. So I'll be blasting out calls and texts to people as well.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yep.
Good. That's a hack. LinkedIn is just such a
Mike's
hack.
the king of LinkedIn.
Is, I actually just started getting back on it. I wasn't really posting on it, but now that I'm like posting on it, I've already like just 2 quick posts, like already like connected with people who have like
crazy.
Been trying to like, you know, like debt and equity brokers, like already been connecting with those, and that's what I've been like looking to reach out to. So I definitely like got to.
You were looking to reach out to debt and equity brokers?
Yeah, like about a year and a half ago was like my goal of like pitching deals to them, and now you know things have come together. You know, after learning, after telling people that hey, I'm trying to connect with some debt and equity brokers, and I've been able to like meet some of the best in LA and New York.
Well, if you're looking to develop in Florida or Texas or Georgia, any of the southern states, my stepsister, she has a family office that lends.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever are, but
yeah,
it could be an option.
My numbers in LA are good for them. They should.
Maybe they will.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I gotta ask her.
Out of curiosity, how did you land on Echo Park? Like, what was the thought logic?
So I like the east side of LA. I personally, I like the east side of LA. It's a bit more authentic, more kind of like New Yorky, and a lot of new buildings in LA's transitioning to like being a transit friendly city.
Yeah.
So a lot of and the way they're doing that, it's like you can read between the lines. Like they're allowing developers to build without parking. 3 years ago, you have to build like a parking spot per unit. Now it's like, okay, you can build without parking. And
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, yeah. So as a lot of these buildings with no parking are coming up, it's like, okay, well, are these buildings going to work in areas where you can't really walk around? And now Echo Park is one of those areas that it's a really strong walkable. It's really the walkability is really high there, and then the sense of community is really strong there as well. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel by trying to find the next hot spot or the next, like trying to kind of almost gamble. But it's like if I see an area that's growing, that has a little bit of spark of interest that's growing, it seems to be following what Silver Lake's doing.
Yeah.
People want to live there, and it has walkability to place a product with no parking there. Yeah. Affordable housing. I think I honestly think
that's the vision right there.
Yeah, I think it's the best area to put this product.
No, I agree with you. I'm just curious how you ultimately figured that out. I mean, I for me, I have clients that want to be in Silver Lake, and we can't be. Like there's no space available, and the rents are astronomical, and they're not willing to pay those. You know, so we're kind of forced to Echo Park, which benefits you. You know,
Sure,
so
yeah,
that's really interesting.
I definitely want to go. I think affordable, more Echo Park. I would want to do like market rate in Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like that's really you're gonna get you're gonna get great rents out there.
Yeah.
What's also good is what I like what LA does when you go market, they'll give you bonus incentives if you allocate anywhere from like 15 to 20% of the units to affordable housing.
Okay.
So you can go higher in height, you can go bigger density,
Yeah.
and your numbers end up penciling out way more, and that's almost what everyone does who goes market. What LA does with affordable now, it's like a new law. They're about to codify it because it's almost too good to be true. Is if you say you're going 100% affordable, you can ask for whatever you want. You can say, I want to go 3 stories higher. You can go a limited density, limited units. You can say, I don't want to do any open space here, no parking. The waivers are just unlimited. And now they're going to cut it back to only 4 waivers. But everyone's just trying to like get in right now. And it's like in this window. And
that's gold right there.
It's gold. It's really gold. And like, your numbers, they just pencil. And like on some sites that really wouldn't work out any other way, now they work. So going affordable is just
that's the way to go.
it is. Yeah.
Is it mailbox money? The government just.
So yeah, like affordable, like Section 8 is the vouchers for 1 bedroom are $2,400. The vouchers for 2 bedrooms are about $3,000.
The only issue is the capex. They might break some stuff in the units.
Yeah, so we'll add up. We'll in our pro formas, we'll boost up the expenses. Yeah, just a little bit. So kind of to maneuver with that.
Still pencils out.
Yeah, still pencils out.
I saw that on Traded because I'm always on Traded. I saw that you closed on something in Astoria.
Astoria?
Wait, didn't you close on something in New
No.
York?
No, not yet.
I don't know. I just saw.
Tell me if I did.
Congratulations.
Well, maybe I think your brother told me you were looking at something in Astoria. I'm confused. I don't know. I saw a big number. I saw you bought something for a big number and traded it.
Oh,
the guy sponsored his post about you.
I was I just traded in LA for a couple of the sites. Yeah.
Okay.
But no.
I manifested.
Yeah,
you really are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was foreshadowing right there.
I did that on
That's
purpose.
it. That's great, man. So listen, congratulations. It was great meeting you. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, Instagram is kind of like my main social media platform at Terry Harris 15. On LinkedIn as well, Terry Harris. So if anybody wants to connect, real estate wise, development wise, I try to put a lot of content out and kind of just to show like how anybody can do this and if you want to do this,
Yeah.
So I put that out there and that's where I'm at,
It's great, man.
Great.
It's very, very inspirational. Amazing what you've accomplished
How old
in
are
a
you?
short amount of time.
Yeah, 27.
27.
Yeah. I just
Awesome.
got into real estate at 25, so
Nice.
you're ahead of where I was.
He's ahead of a lot of 27-year-olds.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that you've gone all in, and I'm sure it's not an easy decision being talented in other areas of life. So the journey to get you to focus full time on real estate, I could say confidently, if you keep going with this, you're going to be way further than you would have been in basketball, at my age. Yeah, right? You got a lot of time to catch up to me at 47. So,
maybe he'll own an NBA team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
That's my goal.
And
I want to own an NBA team.
I looked at it as like, all right, the best I could do in basketball is, making a max contract or whatever. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to do this in real estate.
You can match that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
crazy. I mean, to have your experience on the development side at your age it's
phenomenal.
It's rare, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Keep up the great work.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
This is dope.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Thank you.